How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to the Chase Payne podcast. I thought the Arnold episodes were finished, but we have got a bonus episode for you. Steve, welcome to the podcast, big man. Did it introduce who you are?
Yeah, no, thanks for having us on. Yeah, my name's Steve Fawcett. I'm the man who's put you all through the pain during the qualifiers, and
Yes.
probably your training in the last couple of weeks when you've been practicing workouts, and over the weekend, putting the events together. I've done Arnolds now. I think this is however long Arnold's been going, I've done every year. So I think this is the fourth time,
Okay,
maybe.
cool.
So I've always programmed the Arnold's events, have a great time doing them. And yeah, just like kind of putting pen to paper and creating an event, and then just like watching, getting a lot of stick from people on one end, which is always fun. But then also like seeing people get after it. I'm unfortunately not going to be there this weekend, but watching people get stuck in. So yeah, from working at HWPO, so director of product and programs at HWPO, I've programmed workouts and for athletes for since 2010. So we're 16 years deep into it, but still get a big kick from writing these event
Good man.
program.
Well, you're definitely well qualified to be writing these workouts. That's superb. And I see the stuff you're doing online as well. The sessions are fantastic. I want to thank VXS again. They've sponsored this podcast and all the Arnold episodes. So VXS Gymwear, thank you so much. They're going to be at the Arnold. I'm also going to be at the stand doing some podcast mini episodes there as well. So go and see VXS Gymwear. You can use code DARC, listeners. That's DARC, and you can get 10% off any of the gymwear online or at the stand. Steve, mate, thanks so much for jumping on today. What I am going to say is this, big man. 9 workouts, 9 tests of fitness for someone to be crowned the Arnold Fitness Games champion. There's a lot of pressure to deliver those workouts. The question, though, on everyone's lips is this: what is your why behind the tests and the progressions through the stages of the competition? On the episodes, people have really spoke about this. I'm really interested into the qualifiers and how that transitions over into the live competition. So what's your why behind that? How do you start that process, pal?
Yeah, it's a
big question.
It is a process. And I think you've just got to, I think first of all, you're starting with the qualifiers, right? And there's a lot of things we learned over the years of like what can and can't be done in a qualifier, or not what can't be done, as like what makes it logistically like fine to do. Still test everyone, still get a good test out there, still make sure that the fittest and the strongest people are getting to the next stage, but also make sure that like, these people sat behind the computers reviewing videos and checking scores, like stuff just like simple and easy to be able to, get through and get these people to the next stage without there being drama and dramatic like penalties here, there, and everywhere because something wasn't clear. I know there was a few things from this year.
Let's not talk 2 foot burpees.
Yeah, wasn't me. Let's just start there. It wasn't me. We can hand that off to Rick.
Here we go again. No.
Yeah. I just put burpees. I just put burpees, and I woke up to a lot of videos about standards. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" But yeah, we got through it. Yeah. But my process is this really, and I've spoke about this before. Is that I'm not really thinking about the finals when we're writing the qualifiers. I have maybe like a few thoughts about it. But if we just treat the qualifiers as a set of workouts, I kind of use the analogy of like, when you do a puzzle, like a jigsaw, you're going to find some pieces and you're just going to start in a random place. You might find like the border and the edge and you piece those together first, or you might find like a bit that's really clear to see and you piece those together, and then the next pieces fall into place like after that. So usually what I'll do is like I'll think there and it's like, what's going to be like a sick workout, like one great workout to do, and make that one like something that I really like, and then your following workouts, it's like a natural flow because obviously you want to try and like test stuff that's not exactly the same, like different movement patterns, different energy systems, different like demands. If one was like a more of a strength or capacity focus, then you may be looking for something that's skill. And then you've got like, you kind of like tick boxes of certain movements, and then you kind of like start narrowing down like what you have available to then start the next test and the next test. So once that one workout that's like the forefront gets put in, I honestly can, I've done this a few times now. It's like within 30 minutes, I've done the full competition. But that one workout
So it just flows off that one workout.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I see.
That one workout might take 2 weeks till I'm like picking to make sure that this is perfect. And then I don't know if it's just because I've written so many programs and workouts over my time, but once I see one thing, it's like, right, okay, this is going to be a great thing to follow it up with, or this would be great to do before it, and it just kind of flows there. And if I can't write them within 30 minutes to 60 minutes, then I'll stop. Do you know, I won't try and like sit there for like 5 hours trying to.
So you don't force it, right?
Works.
So you're not in a position where you're like, I'm going to force this, I want to make this happen. You can't let it come to you as you're developing it.
Yeah. I think it's gonna like flow naturally, and that's when I've always felt like the workouts have been great. If I'm just trying like to changing things constantly, it's just like, right, let's just scrap it until we get that good starting point again. And then go from there. So that's how I did the qualifiers. That's how I've done the last few years. That's how I did the qualifier this time. It was the interval one, which was like the main, like one that I started with.
It was challenging, dude. 20 burpees over the bar, then the 10 snatch and the max chest to bar, mate. A lot of people, you know, when I spoke to them about it, they really went full send on the first AMRAP, but then some didn't even make the bar in the last 2 rounds. It was a lot of skill in your pacing involved as well. It isn't just right, let's send it. There's a lot of skill in that. It was a good workout.
I think that's with Arnold's as well, is why I like doing them, is because it isn't a competition that's like meant to be like really inclusive. Like you're gonna get challenged skill wise and with weights. And Rick had always said to me from the first time we did it, he's like, he wants it to be like how regionals always was, where regionals was always that thing there's gonna be events in there that are just gonna stop you. Like they're gonna challenge like your skill level and your strength level. It's not just low skill capacity workouts like all the time, like he does with some of his other competitions, like what's the one that I've done? Winter Soldiers is known for it's like lower skill. Like there's a bit of weight there, but it's lower skill where everyone can do it and everyone sends it, which is fantastic. I've done it before and they're great competitions. But this is a competition where you're trying to make sure that there's legless rope climbs in there, there's ring muscle ups to a decent volume, there's, you know, handstand walks, unbroken stuff that is going to require you to be keeping on top of your skills and the more intricate stuff all year round. And for me, that's the type of competitions I've always liked to do as an athlete. We've never really like gone into the kind of lower skill stuff because it was the separator workouts, which I always felt like made the events what they are. So, hopefully that's what people feel this weekend as well.
I think so. And you made a really good point in the fact that the Arnolds is viewed as, and what Rick wants is to really take people well out of their comfort zones, but to turn up. And when they see that workout and go, you are kidding me, ring muscle ups or legless leg cleanse, I can't do it. Good, because that's where you need to be. And all the athletes I've spoken to on the podcasts, everyone, as much as it's like, oh, you are kidding me, wow, and they get frustrated, the mindset is they lean into it. And it's, for me as well, you know, having the chest to bar again, it was in the qualifiers, having that, I was like, I got past that, brilliant. And then like chest to bar is a big struggle for me. I can do pull-ups, I can do bar muscle. I'd rather 5 bar muscle ups personally. But the chest to bar, just because the skill, I haven't got it. I'm working on it. And you lean into it. Okay, cool. Well, how can I get through that? You know what? We had Lucy Campbell on the podcast 2 days ago with Rick.
Oh, nice.
And we've got an episode coming out tomorrow. And everyone, if you're listening now, guys, make sure you listen to the episode, because Lucy Campbell has given so much advice on this episode, and I've taken away from it. And I asked her, and so did Anna, an athlete, asked her about when you do struggle with something you can't do when you're stood on the dance floor and everyone's moving. Like, how do you mentally deal with that? And she explained it so well. It is about staying in your lane. It is about focusing on what you can do. And everyone's race starts at a different point. So for me, once I get past the chest of bars and wall balls, my race will start in workout 1 at the second dumbbells, because that's when I know I can race. So I've got to get there and then race. If people just send it on the first echo bike, brilliant, good luck to you. I'll catch you if I can later.
Yeah.
But you have to really focus on your rep schemes and what you can do. She explained it a lot better than that. So please have a listen. Obviously, Lucy's an absolute legend, and what she says you should be listening to. But I think all those points have been hit, nail on the head. It's taken people out their comfort zones, and we know that's what Rick wants. It doesn't mean we're going to get people moaning about it, because that's part of an athlete's, the fun of it as well, is phone up a mate. Can you believe they've done ring muscle-ups? Can you believe they're doing legless? How long's the rope? We don't know. Did you see Rick do a video about his post about
the 30-foot ones?
Yeah, mate.
Unfortunately, they're not that tall.
No. But again, there's still a little bit of mystery behind it. So the workouts have been released, but we still don't know how far the dumbbell lunges are. I'm guessing it'll be 6.5 meters, but we don't know. The rope, we don't know. I mean, it was seated rope climbs going back a few years ago. So we don't know whether it would be seated. So we're not too sure how that looks. We just know that there's going to be ropes, ring muscle ups, and I just feel as though those challenging areas are going to be, they're good. They take us out of our comfort zone. And you know what? That's the thing that we're here for. We're here to be challenged, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think it's, sorry.
No, I just think, like, I was going to talk about the Echo bike, because the Echo bike last year, the first workout, mate. So that was disgusting. That was so bad. And this year, well, I got a picture of me on the floor. Everyone was on the floor. And I remember it just took my soul, especially the final 30 seconds when you got to go again. That, I don't know if that was just added at the end or what, but that was very, very clever. And it destroyed me for the other workouts. But then when I saw the Echo bike in the first workout this time around, 15 cows at the start. For me, it's 15. For others, it's 18.
Yeah.
And then you finish with 18. I was like, that's not too bad, because compared to last year Echo bike, I will take that all day long. So what I'm saying is it's give and take.
Yeah. And I think so that it's both in the teams workouts that there's some Echo bike sprints in there. It's something that I really like doing with Arnold's, is kicking off the first event with hard Echo bikes, because for a few years now I've done it, and I've loved listening to the noise that the Echo bikes make when people jump on them at the same time and just send it. That was like, it was an unreal thing on that. On that 30 seconds, it was like,
mine doesn't move, Steve. It don't go nowhere.
Yours got a puncture, has it?
Yeah, I've got a puncture.
So like, people like we were saying before, some people who are confident with maybe the ring muscle ups, the volume of the ring muscle ups, and the intensity and the interference with the wall balls, might go pretty big on that calorie bike to begin with, because they're maybe confident that within the lunges they can maybe like control their heart rate, and then they can still get cracking. So you might get some people who are revving them up there, but there's nothing better than a race, when you can see you walking, lunging, and you're looking left, you kind of have a bit of a moment to see who's there, and it's like, okay, I know that someone's like 2 steps behind me, I'm going to have to get on this bike. So there's an opportunity then to like see where you are, because it's going to be quite hard between the wall balls and ring muscle-ups where you're at within your heat.
Different rounds.
But the walking lunges, you'll know straight away, because you'll step out, you'll be like, look left, look right, who am I in a race with? Just exactly what Lucy was saying. Like, where is your race starting? Can you start racing from there? And, no matter what position you're in, how are you feeling? A 15 or 18 or something, some of the ladies got 12 calorie bike at the end of a workout. It's going to go dark, and it's just who can get on that bike having done all of that work and just still get the head down and create that power output.
Yeah.
Because we know what it's like when you send 18 calories, and you really get into that 90 RPM plus, the calories just go like that. If you've got the capacity to do that, then you could potentially take a few people in the heat. Or if you're going to sit there and do your 65 to 70 and kind of coast through it.
They don't go there. The calories don't go anywhere.
They don't. They go slow. So you've really got to try and jump on that bike, and just get those first 5 calories moving hard and moving fast, and just close your eyes and hope for the best at that point.
I've shared a few conversations on the pods again about the Echo Bike and people's tactics. So the question is always like, when you're on there, how do you handle that moment of the legs are now giving up on you, the mind's starting to give up, you know, you've got 8 calories to go. Like, what, how do you keep going? I've had some really good conversations about that. And the Echo Bike is always a good one to bring that up, because we know how that feels. And there's no hiding place at all.
No.
I do remember 2 years ago. So when it was the final 30 seconds, max calories on the Echo Bike, just looking up, my wife's there, my daughter's there. And that was what done it for me. I was up there and they're screaming, you know, and they go faster. I can't, I'm trying. Like, you've got to keep moving. Like, you know, there's just nothing left. But this is again why the Arnolds is so special, because for me, that's my CrossFit Games. It's an event where you get to walk out and showcase what you can do, and everyone I've spoken to has that same emotional attachment to the Arnolds. It's obviously a fantastic event anyway, because it's such a big event, because of what's going on there. But I feel as though everyone has this magic attachment with walking out, getting your name called out, and there's a lot of people there, the DJ's there, and you got Stella there, and it is just really magical. It sounds corny, but you've earned that. And athletes, it's not a qualifier you're buying into. You know, you have to earn your right to be there through these qualifiers. So no, I do definitely love that magic of the day. And mate, it's in 48 hours, 24 hours. We can't wait, buddy.
I know, you've not got long, have you?
All of those programming that you've put into it. I do have a question about that. So the Thursday now, I actually compete on the Sunday. So it'll be a bit of a chill day tomorrow, working Saturday there with the podcast and speaking to athletes. Then the Sunday I get to throw down. And I get nervous, which is brilliant. Again, spoke about that with a lot of other athletes. How do you feel? Because they're all about to take on your workouts. Do you at any point ever go, I'm a little bit worried because it might not hit the intensity it should hit? I don't know. Is there any worries for you as a programmer? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I've definitely had some in the past, because it's a fine when you're creating things like when the time caps are, because within Arnold's we've got you're quite restricted. Like, you've got 1 day per category, and you've got between 40 I think to 48 minutes worth of heat time per category to be able to get things in. So it's always like the time caps, sometimes I'll have to err on the side of making this is a tough time cap where maybe only 5 people are going to finish. And you never want to overdo that time cap where no one finishes. But I also don't want a time cap where there's like everyone's finished and there's 2 minutes left, because that's 2 minutes that I could have used elsewhere. So finding like that time cap is always the one, because you know, you can test it and you can run through how long things take in your head. But a lot of things with how the floor's set up, where like the kit is affect times quite a lot, 30 seconds to a minute worth, depending on where everything is. So there's a lot of stuff that, you know, you're kind of hoping you've put together and is going to go on, because for me that's a big part of the experience. If you can get the top 25% of each category finish an event and everyone else get time capped, I think that's the perfect balance.
Interesting.
I think because it should be hard to finish a workout at a competition. There might be some times where everyone's going to finish. Hopefully there's no times when no one finishes. But again, it comes back to my experience through regionals, which is like a lot of the driving force with like the thought process here is that not everyone finished every workout at regionals. Rarely, sometimes there was like 2 people that finished the chipper, for example. Sometimes there's 10 people worldwide that finished the chippers, and they were things to strive for. To get that feeling to cross the finish line and having smashed something was like a feeling that you strive for. And to get time capped on the floor was a bit of like it was always a bit of a gut check. But that gut check was always the thing that drove you for the next year. It's like, I remember thinking like, I need to not get time capped. Like, I'm going to make sure I don't get time capped on the chipper workout or the skill workout next year. And they were the things that would like fuel your training. So that's what I'm a bit nervous for, is like making sure that, you know, something's not really under or overshot there, because I think that has a big effect on the athlete's experience. I'm pretty confident with the tests and how they'll flow. Everything flows quite simple. I have to keep it quite simple this year. So there shouldn't be anything there, or there's no movements that are going to be like strange, and you know, people can maybe like not cheat, but like, you know, like cut corners and it becomes a bit of a drama. I think everything's pretty straightforward in that sense, and I've still managed to get a great test. So it's just a time cap thing for me, making sure everyone leaves with the right experience.
So the feedback from the athletes, on all the athletes that I've spoken to about the workouts and time caps, was, including me, like there's some tight time caps. Like they are going to challenge you. And I've tested a couple of the workouts, and the workouts that I wasn't too sure about, I wanted to really find out how long certain things took. I've looked at the floor plans and where the box is compared to where the pull-ups and the shoulder, the overhead is. For me, that transition period is going to be life or death. That's going to be time cap or not time cap, because when you get to the devil press at the end, you know, 20 devil press is going to take maybe 2 minutes, maybe a bit longer. You're going to be so fatigued. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, because that's probably my favorite workout, if I'm honest. Although it's going to hurt so much. But the point I'm making is the transitions, not even the movements, not even your fitness. The transitions are going to be so key to you completing a workout. And that could be two spaces on a leaderboard, 3 spaces on a leaderboard, just because of your transitions. And I think that's really interesting. So that workout that I've just mentioned there is, I want to say Predator, is it? I think it's Predator. So we've got the I've got it here: RX 5 rounds for time, 2 lengths handstand walk, 18 box jump overs into 20 devil press at 22.5 kg. So the first point to make on this one, Steve, big man. So this is a question that someone, not a question, but just a point they kind of made was they're competing in the 45 plus RX. And they were like,
workouts here. Go on.
Yeah, so 45 plus RX they're competing in.
Now.
And it was from Browner, and he's like, 45 plus RX, that 22.5 kg dumbbells, like that's a very heavy dumbbell for people that are only 50 years old, because they are going to be there of that age. And as much as that's doable, it is a high volume for that age of the body, 45, 50, the lower back and things. But he was just comparing that to the gymnastics that gets reduced to 1 handstand length walk as opposed to 2 lengths. So it'd be easier on the body to have 2 length handstand walks and have the dumbbells at 215s rather than vice versa. And that was just a question he had. What was the thought process between keeping the 22.5 kg dumbbells?
Yeah, so I'll start with the reason why. So I think the skill level Masters is always the hard one, because you have such a range of people in Masters categories. Like, you got some people who are gymnasts and are just like unreal still as a master with the gymnastics.
And he loves his gymnastics.
Yeah, okay. So like he's at one end of the spectrum, and then you've got other masters who are just strong as fuck, and who just like love a bit of weight, and that's what they lean into. So it is Masters is the hardest one to strike that balance with, because there's such a range of people. Like someone is that 45 plus? Do you say that category? Someone who's 45 to someone who's 52. There's a big difference there, and they could be in the same category. But the main reason was that I never want to change the workouts from what the elite are that much. I don't want it to be like a big change for them. I want them to feel like they're they're competing as close to that as possible. So making the adjustments that are still, like I said before, still going to give the masters that experience without without going too far one way or the other. So I felt by going down to one length of handstand walks, it's still going to test comparatively like the same amount of skill level. I know it's less volume, but you're still going to get the people who can do handstand walks well pull ahead, and it helps those
That's what
people
he was saying. Yeah, that's a good point. He was saying that if there was 2 handstand walks, actually, it would give him more of a chance to get ahead.
Yeah,
because he can make up the time that he might lose on those really heavy dumbbells for a set of 20.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 5 lengths with there, and 5 lengths, it's around about a 20-foot length, and not to spoil it for everyone. There's 100 foot of handstand walk in there for a 45 plus master. I think that's a lot of time to get ahead. With 100 foot of handstand walks, if you're fast and your hands and you're good, you can be a minute or two ahead of someone else at that point, who's slow and has to really let the heart rate come down before they kick up. So there's a lot of time I think can be still made on those handstand walks. And the dumbbells devil press, it's one of those. It's like you're going to get
heavy
there.
dumbbells. I'm telling you, that's going to be crazy. I can't wait to watch that on Saturday. That's going to be crazy.
I think it's.
What made you put the 20 at the end? I want to hear. What made you go, right, I'm going to stick 20 devil press at the end? Because I know people want to know this answer.
So I actually had them at the beginning at first.
Interesting.
I had it as a buy-in, and a few of my boys.
You could definitely go through that a bit more smoother at the beginning, couldn't you? That's your okay. I want to get through these steady. There's no real grit and grind. Having them at the end really adds that spice to it.
Yeah, so it's important to know that this comes after the 1 rep max snatch, right? So you're on the floor, you've done the 1 rep max snatch. So I liked the contrast of going from like heavy lift, heavy snatch into like fast body weight. I liked like having that like contrast of movement and then coming back to the heavy. When I originally had it as dumbbell devil's press, I was talking about it as the buy-in. It felt like people would hold back on them a little bit, and then the handstand walks would be like a little bit slower and fatigued, and you would never like get. It'd just be a bit of nothing, and then just by simply moving them to the end, I felt like we could get this for the people.
You've got no choice but to go for it at the end. You've got no choice. There's nowhere to hide. Having at the start, definitely you can hide a little bit, and it does make it a little bit of a. Not a chipper, but it just makes it a bit more slower and methodical. Having that at the end, you've got to earn the right to get there, and then you've got to commit, right?
Yeah.
Great workout.
And it's one of those, like, 8-minute time cap, Am I expecting everyone to finish double the 20 reps? Not in every category. It's gonna be tough.
Tight.
But
it's tight, mate.
This is the main thing that people are gonna come back. They're gonna make sure, even maybe in these week or two that they've had the workouts, they're gonna do double dumbbells devil press at 222s. They're going to make sure that's in the training for the next year. So it's just like there's always like these
good point.
There's always limits that people sometimes put on themselves in terms of like, what's accepted for a certain category. But it's like the only way them limits are moving is if they get challenged. And if you get 5 dumbbell devil's press and you have to do one every 15, every 20 seconds, fantastic. If you get through them all, like, even better. I think all of the category can do those reps. I don't think they're going to be failing reps. It's just going to be a challenge, just like the same as if it was, 140 kilo deadlifts at the end. It's just a challenging strength move to finish a skill. What starts as like a more body weight skill finishes with a little bit of odd object type strength.
Yeah. So I didn't do a full test of it. I did 10 shoulder to overhead, 10 toes to bar, and just 12 box jump overs just to get the stimulus. And then I did that for 4 rounds because my division is that with the 18 box jump overs. But I only programmed 15 devil press at the end just to get that intensity. How long did it take? How did I feel at 10? How did I feel at 15 when I got 5 to go? So it was a nice stimulus to get the feel for it. And I tell you what, those devil press, mate, they hit the sweet spot. When you're in a workout and you're getting towards the end of a workout, but actually it's the start of the workout because those 20 devil press, it's going to take, 2 minutes for most people or maybe longer. That really is for me in my head, again, that's where the real race is going to start because you can get there first, but it doesn't mean you're going to finish first. And I like that jeopardy in a workout. So for me, the greatest workouts, the workouts that have jeopardy. It has that bit of a gamble. Am I going to want to get to the dumbbells first? Can I hold on, or am I going to just manage the first part, and then when I get to the dumbbells, I'm going to commit, and I know I can take over people? For me, that's a bit of Jeopardy.
Exactly.
And that's what I think makes a great workout.
And do you know what? I don't like workouts in competition where everyone's finishing really close to each other, because I think a lot of emphasis then goes on like a judge's call, or like standards of, or where the setup was. That I think there always has to be things in there that's creating the separators for people are going to look at those devil's press in the same category as the fellow. Then I forgot his name, and they're going to be like, yes, I can't wait to get some devil's press. Some people are going to look at devil's press and go, no, that's going to be a terrible part of the workout. So there needs to be that range, I think, within workouts where people are allowed to separate, and it's not everyone crossing the line within 20 seconds of everyone. I always hate the workouts that because it's just such fine lines and fine margins. One small error from a judge can ruin it.
What are your thoughts on when people create competition and you have the first 3 or 4 that come across that line? It creates that tension and that atmosphere. Obviously, you don't want everyone crossing that line, but it can be very entertaining for the crowd for when people are lunging towards the line together. On the echo bike, they're fighting for them calories to get off and then run off the bike together to try and run, or should we say fall across the finish line. Those things, I think, from a viewer's point of view, are really entertaining. It really hypes the crowd up. So on one end of the scale, you're exactly right. You don't want everyone in this line finishing together, but it can create that great euphoric moment of 2 or 3 people just chasing, chomping at the bit to get there first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if it's a few people, then it's perfect. If it's everyone, it's a problem, I think.
Yeah.
So like you want to see like multiple groups of like little races that happen, like people that are like going for first, second, and third, like a little race there, and then maybe like a race towards the end still. Like there's still 2 people battling it out. You definitely don't want first place to 20th place, or the full people within like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Those really fast sprint ones. I think
and when you are competing live, you do have people in your side. Let's say, on that first workout, I'm in 8th position, for example. I get to dumbbells. There's 2 or 3 people, 2 people either side of me. Us 3 are racing for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Brilliant. That's still a race. That's where we fit in that workout. It doesn't mean, another workout, we're not going to race for first, second, and third, but that's where we are, because you're right. There was something in there that stopped us. There was a separator that meant that we could not progress or become first, second, or third in that workout. But I do really think these workouts at the Arnolds, for me, they're really purists of CrossFit. They're just, it's not all about the machines. It is about movements. Rope climbs, ring muscle ups. You've just got so much in there. I think it really encapsulates what CrossFit is about, and that's what really excites me about going there this weekend, as it does the other athletes.
Good.
So we definitely hit. That is obviously good. So looking at all the workouts as a whole, it's quite a generalization, but it's very leggy, isn't it? It is a really leg heavy, top heavy workout, because we've got first workout, we've obviously got echo bike, leggy, is going to be leggy. We've got lunges, and then obviously we've got more lunges, echo bike, the wall balls. I mean, for me, the wall balls really blow my legs up and my back up, actually. And then next workout, obviously snatch. After that, we've got the box jump overs, again, very leggy. Probably my second favorite workout, front squats and rope climbs. Like, that is going to be an absolute beast. It might not, for me, it's 50K. For others, it's obviously heavier, but it's still a lot of reps and a lot of volume. And it isn't your first workout of the day. Well, that's 4th workout of the day. And then the final workout, the last stand. I did test this in the full. And it's going to be challenging. It is going to be challenging to hold those numbers you want to hold. And you know what? The burpees for me also felt really leggy coming off the rowing machine after round 2, just to jump up and try and create that energy to get over the bar. Yeah, it just feels, and again, it's an opinion that a lot of athletes have said, it seems very, very leggy. What are your thoughts on that?
Then you need to work on your legs, because you could
Yes,
also...
let's go, Steve. Brilliant. That's the answer I was looking for, dude. Yeah, don't accept it. That's right.
For every exercise you've named there, I can name an upper body exercise. You've said echo bike and walking lunges. Then you've got ring muscle ups and wall balls. You can also say that those are two shouldery exercises. They're also goblet lunge, so that you've got a lot of tension still in your shoulders. So some people are going to feel that in their legs. Some people are going to feel that in the upper body. 1RM snatch, yes, we've got pull from the floor and you've got a squat, but there's a lot of upper body required, the stability and stabilization required in a snatch. So there's a test there in your upper body. You've also got 200, we got 40. Yeah, 200. This is in the elite, 200 foot of handstand walks, 0 legs, all shoulders. Devil's press is, yes, it's lower back and legs, but your shoulders are in there also. You've got front squats, but then you've got rope climbs, legless rope climbs, upper body.
Yeah.
And you can probably argue that the burpees, there's that. I think the last one's a little bit of everything. There's the rowing, which was originally programmed as ski, but we couldn't get enough ski, so it's been changed to row.
Right. That is the row.
And hang power clean is as upper body as a barbell move that's not a shoulder to overhead. So, look, I think some people are going to look at this, and if their weakness is lower body strength endurance, they're going to go, this is leggy. And other people are going to look at this, and if their weakness is upper body strength and skills, they're going to go, this is shouldery. And it's just, for me, it's like, if I can name as many upper body movements as lower body movements. So if you think there's a bias in one or the other way, it's probably an indicator that you have a weakness in one of those ways.
Love it. Good answer, Steve. Love it.
Thanks.
The front squats and rope climbs workout, like,
yep.
I've always, one of my things, I've got like a tick box list that I want to try to achieve throughout fitness in general. And one of them was to do rope climbs in a competition. So I've been able to do legless rope climbs. Haven't done rope climbs for a couple of years, so I haven't really needed to. And then they come up. So I've been to the box and practiced them, and I'm trying to practice the scissors technique, trying to use my legs and not rely on the arms too much. But it's interesting. I did a kind of a test on the workout, but what really got me was the forearms, because of the front squats, balancing the front rack, and then obviously using the forearms. Mate, I think it's a very, very clever workout. So simple and so fast.
Yeah.
But yet, those front squats, if you're going to try and commit to those really fast and then stand on the rope for 30 seconds, what's the point? I think there's a lot of thought process that needs to go into that workout. And it'd be different for everyone, but having tested it, a kind of test, I broke it down. But I've found a way that I feel as though I can deal with it. But that's if I'm allowed to, because I think the front squats, if you're allowed to, if you can take it off your front rack and do your front cross technique instead, that might help out.
Yeah, I think you see that couple, and this is what Fran is about, right? It's the front rack into pulling, and you see it a lot in open workouts. Is that Castro will link together something that's grip intensive with front rack, because it really tests and it rewards the people who've got good movement economy, people who move well and can hold good positions. Because if you're going through, let's say you've hit,
mate.
If you've hit the 9 front squats and then you go into the is it 5 legless rope climbs first, or 5 rope climbs?
5 for elite, yeah.
Then you're going into like a higher set on the front squats to come back to. If you're not able to flush in that upper body during those front squats because your front rack's so restricted and you're just kind of like getting cut off here at your wrist, and all that tension's staying in your forearms and biceps, then you're not going to be able to recover as well as someone who can just keep a relaxed front squat. If you go there, then I think it'll be allowed. Don't count me on it, but you're still some shoulder fatigue happening there than if you were to have a really good relaxed front rack. A big tip for people is to spend some time now, tomorrow, when you warm up, just making sure that front rack is there's as least tension as possible through the forearms and biceps, because that's going to have a huge impact on when you get back to the legless rope climbs of whether your grip has recovered or not. And those people, you're going to get the people who have got like strong legs and good at rope climbs that are succeeding on that, but it's the people who move the best in a front squat who are really going to, feel the benefit of that as they get into later rope climb reps.
Well, like I say, I'm Daffy Duck because literally my mobility is so poor, but I am 45, Steve, but I do still work on it. It's that poor. I can't even touch my... Look, I can't touch my shoulder. I can't even touch my shoulder.
To make curls.
No, it's not. I can't do it. If you're at home, right, give this a go. Well. My family give me so much stick for this. I cannot. I can touch that one, but I can't touch this shoulder. My kids give me a lot of stick about that. But, I am working on it, mate. It's a long-term plan.
That's the main thing.
Plan.
That's the main thing.
After the weekend,
Yep.
The champion's been crowned. Everyone will have their champion moment. Everyone will have their highlights from the weekend. Everyone have that memory. On the Monday when people go back to work, on the Tuesday when they start to recover and they see their friends back at the box, what do you hope they say about the workouts? What would be the ideal thing that they'd say, I tell you what, I thought these workouts were this. What's kind of your ideal scenario there?
Yeah, I want to make sure that everyone's leaving with like a moment where, it was like euphoric moment where like let's say it's the 1 rep max snatch. Someone lands like a big lift, or they're managing to hold on to those handstand walk lengths unbroken, which they maybe have not done before. Something that really makes them, like, challenges them, and then they come out on the positive side of it. So you get those like big moments. And I also want to make sure that there's like the opposite there for most people, where they're challenged to that point where like, they got really tested. And not that I'm trying to like make athletes fail, but they're leaving with something like, oh, that was a gut check, that workout. That was clearly something
I've got to work on that now.
Yeah, like I got shown up, like that went worse than I thought it was going to. And that's something that's going to fuel me, because that's what fueled me for like years of my career, is having those moments where you just underperformed to what other people were or what your expectations were. And it really just like highlighted an area you need to work on. And my motivation in training then was like so much higher just to get stuck into that. So to have both of that really is like, yeah, I got tested, some amazing moments, some moments that I'll never forget. And also some other moments that I'll never forget, because like it caught me out, and it's stuff that I need to get back into the gym and train for. And I really want to make sure that people are looking at strength cycles, how their Olympic lifting technique is, what their gymnastics progressions are looking like, making sure they're always pushing the boat on higher skill gymnastics, because I think we get into sometimes too much of a rut of just doing things that we can do right now. Like we're doing Metcons and we're making sure that there's an amount of reps in there that I can do unbroken, or I can push intensity. And, are we constantly trying to push the boat of not just how fit you are, but the high level skill demand of whether that's Olympic lifting or that's high skill legless rope climbs. I would have loved to be able to put some strict handstand push-ups in there, but we couldn't. So handstand walks, like making sure that you're also pushing the boat on that side of things, rather than just trying to like bury yourself in burpees and rowing and bike, which is an important part of the game. But at competition, I feel like you should be able to showcase skills as well.
And you use that word showcase there. And that is what this is about. We practice so much throughout the year and to qualify and the build up to this, and then the workouts come out. And you want to see those things that you can showcase. A 1 rep max lift, let's do it on the dance floor. Let's hit a PB. For you, it's about creating those opportunities to make memories on the dance floor. Good memories, but also the ones that are going to improve you by putting you in a hole. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, for me, that's going to be the chest to bar, 15 chest to bar in a set. Some people that'll take 25, 30 seconds. For me, if that's 1 minute 10, I'm going to, good. I've got to break it up, and that's what I've got to do. And I'll make the point that in the last, maybe 10 days, I've probably practiced more on my skill on my chest to bar than I have in 2 years.
There you go.
And that's because it's now programmed and I know I have to do it. And I usually stay away from it. Like pulling's a really big strength of mine. Like I say, I would have preferred the other workout, the 5-bar muscle ups, like buzzing. That I'd have done that quicker than the chest to bar, like a lot better.
Yeah, okay.
But I am glad the chest to bar there, because it's made me practice it, work on the skill, and I've now come up with a regime of how I'm going to get through that workout. When I first saw it, I was like, you are kidding. I've done the AMRAP in the qualifiers. I've got through that. At least make that 21 pull-ups and then 15 chest to bar and 9-bar muscle up. Man, really? But lean into it. So I sucked it up. Really practiced on it. And that's the mindset. You putting the workouts out, like creating those workouts, the Arnolds putting them out, it makes you go, right, okay, shit, I need to work on that. And I've made a note now that I'm going to make sure this time next year I can hit sets of 15 chest to bar, just something I have to work on. So it's good. And it's nice that, for me, it's really nice to hear you say that you want, with your programming, you want to hit both sides of the spectrum. Yes, let's have a great time, but 2, I'm going to challenge you. And I want it to be sticky. I want there to be a sticking point. So that's where we grow and that's where we learn. Have you tested the workouts yourself, Steve?
I won't received any data that was worthwhile with testing the workouts myself. I'm fully in my endurance era. I've got some guys over in America, so there was no chance of leaks that have tested some bits here for me. But honest, like, I know, I don't want to sound like egotistical about it. I've programmed that many workouts. I've got a good idea of like what things feel like and look like and how long they take. To be
That's
able
what
to
I'm
like
do,
get
Steve.
a
what
feel
I'm going
for
to
it.
do, I'm going to say to the judges, guys, just so you know, I've written my times and my splits for you. That's my workout time, mate. And let's walk off the dance floor.
You do. I had a friend Tino, that just like this slightly off topic, but every year we used to do a 5K row test, and this fella Tino, great athlete, regionals level at the time, he'd sit down, he'd row a K, he'd row 1K, and then he'd stand up and go, yeah, I could have held that for like times 5. I could have done that four more times. So he'll just write that his score down. So maybe just do that. Do 1 round and go, just add me times my score by 4, and that's the score.
Love that. So on the podcast, I've had a lot of record-breaking indoor rowers, ergers, top tuggers, shall we say? And I always ask them this question, and I'm going to ask you it. So 500-meter row and 2K row, what's the toughest?
2K.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably the most popular answer. Yeah, I mean, they're obviously 2 very different workouts. Have you tested both?
Yeah. I think my my best 500 was 120.6. I want to say.
Wow, that's a great time, big man.
Yeah, and then my I'm gonna say 640. I did it for Ella Wilkinson as like some of a dissertation testing, which was a terrible volunteer workout for me to do. But yeah, I think comparatively, it's probably why I say 500 is like, I'm not a guy of huge stature, but I think for power and a shorter stroke rate, I could get away with 500 and getting that rate up there. Whereas the 2K, it starts to, I think, you just benefit from that little bit more length per stroke. But then I would go further. I would prefer like a 5K row. So like 2K would be my worst, 500 probably be my best, and 5,000 like second on the list.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, they are great workouts. And I know actually Rick programmed 500-meter row in one of his graft events the other day I saw, which I was very proud of. I thought that was brilliant. We had a pod about the 500 and the rowing challenges, but no, that was really good to see. Is there anyone in there? Yeah, for sure. Is there anyone, do you think, in the CrossFit world that could actually compete with these 500-meter row times of, the 112s, 113s, 114s? Do you reckon there's any animals out there that could compete with the indoor rowing world?
I think you've got Dallins and your Jason Hopper, big guys, like
I'd be
big
interested
units.
to see what they could pull. Really interested.
I feel like Hopper would be I was at the 115s around there, I think.
Do you reckon? Because those, when you hit that 300-meter mark, it just, the whole game, that last 200 meters, last 150, it's a game changer. I did the British Championships in December, and I had 6 weeks training for it. And I managed to, I think it was a 122.2, I think I pulled in the end on the day, which I was really happy with, the PB. But watching the elites deliver the power in that machine was insane. And how they hold on to it for so long. I'm interested into how that stimulus would carry over into the CrossFit world. But yeah, interesting. Maybe I'll ask Dan and Pepper to give it a go, maybe.
There you go. Shoot me a DM. I'm sure he'll respond positively.
Yeah. When I say, Steve, like, it's going to be 24 hours, the teams tomorrow, and we've got Saturday, the elites, we've got Sunday. It's going to be a massive weekend. I am going to be doing some video footage, so I'll make sure I send you some of that so you can see all your workouts in action and those pain faces. You are responsible for us chasing pain, mate. So I want to thank you for programming the workouts, and I do mean that. I won't think that when I'm mid-workout. However, you will be in my thoughts during those 20 devil press.
Appreciate it.
And thanks so much for jumping on today. I know you're a busy man.
It's all good.
And listeners, I hope you've really enjoyed the conversation, and maybe it'd be nice to follow up the week after to let you know how the workouts went, because I'm going to be speaking to all the athletes. We can get a bit of feedback. It'd be nice for you, because you're not going to be there. Can really give you some good, positive, constructive feedback on how the workouts went and that stimulus, and to make sure kind of it was that it got the response that you wanted it to get. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, looking forward to it. Make sure you get me some clips of that first event of the teams where they've got that little relay. It's like a minute work, isn't it? And they're like sprinting on the bike, and then
isn't it? Different.
And then the next one runs out. That'll be I really think that'll be a great event to start the whole weekend off. That's where you're going to get those. You're going to hear those bikes like revving, people sprinting to the rope, climbing up them really quick, box jumping really quick. I think it'll be a great event to set the scene. So get me some footage of that one, please. I'll be interested.
Yeah, most definitely, big man. We're gonna get some footage of that, and obviously of all the movements, all the fun. Hopefully some PB lifts as well to show you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, for sure. But look, thanks for coming on today, and it's been great to catch up, and I cannot wait to catch up again soon to discuss the workouts. And I want to say, everyone that's listened today, thank you very much. Please don't forget to hit the review button. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and share the channel. The channel is all about celebrating fitness, talking to everyone within the fitness world and getting their experiences, and basically spreading those positive vibes. So, Steve, thanks, mate, and we'll catch up very soon.
Cheers, big man. Nice one.